Hello, everyone. It's Brian in Toronto. Today is yet another thread response. There are so many, but I feel like I have to take part in this one because it's kind of interesting. This one is from Chris Prophy, Musically Obsessed, the man who has launched 1,000 threads or so it seems. This one's on aliens, specifically, what three records would we want aliens to listen to when they arrive on the planet Earth? So I think that's an interesting question. And he specified within the rock genre, which is enormous. I mean, even if you read the Wikipedia entry, at the bottom they have this table of rock music, and it covers everything from flamenco rock to country rock to post rock and new wave, so it's quite large. So I picked three that I think fall into that category. Before I do that, though, I think I have to answer two questions. The first question is, the first question, that's the second question. The first question is, do aliens exist? And I would say absolutely no question. Aliens exist. There are billions of planets, presumably, and billions of galaxies, and I see no reason to think that there are no aliens out there. So I think there are aliens. Second question is, do I think that aliens have visited Earth? And I would say absolutely no. No aliens have ever been here. So it does beg the question of, by the time they do arrive, the music will sound a lot different. So these are going to be outdated when they come. So maybe they shouldn't look at my video. So I picked three things. And my premise for this is, I didn't want to mention things that are too mainstream. Like, if I was an alien visiting a planet, the first thing I would do when I landed my spaceship on that planet would be to turn on my radio and see what I could listen to. And if they do that, they're going to hear, like, the Beatles and the Stones and Pink Floyd, all those things, Taylor Swift and whatnot. So I wanted to avoid that and choose three records that I think they are unlikely to hear on the radio, and that maybe my neighbor isn't also running out with three records that I have chosen. So here we go. Let's start with a band that was formed in 1975 in Cleveland, Ohio, just across the lake there. And that is Pere Ubu, and this is a record called The Modern Dance, their first record from 1978. This is a pretty strange band. Excuse me. First, I should say there's only been one consistent member, and that's David Thomas. Again, if you look at the Wikipedia entry, and they have one of those tables for memberships, it lists like 20, 25 people, and he's the only guy that's been in every version of Pere Ubu. I once heard it described as post-apocalyptic surf rock, but let's look at the image first. Look, the guy's wearing ballet slippers, but he looks sort of maybe from the Workers' Party. It's hard to say. So post-apocalyptic surf rock, music, concrete, abstract, experimental, all those weird performance art, maybe proto-industrial at some points. I think David Thomas said it was avant-garage, like a portmanteau of avant-garde with garage rock, which is interesting. And I will mention something that I saw in the Wikipedia entry. It says their songs imagined 1950s and 1960s garage rock and surf music archetypes as seen in a distorting funhouse mirror, emphasizing the music's angst, loneliness, and lyrical paranoia, sometimes sounding like a demented nursery rhyme sing-along, which I think is a fantastic description. I think this is a great band. If you don't know this band, my recommendation is just to listen to the first track on here, which is called Non-Alignment Pact, and that will give you a sense of sort of what the band sounds like. He's got a very interesting voice. The voice might be something you struggle with, but I think he's got a great voice. So that is number one. Not only do aliens need to listen to it, the people who haven't heard this probably should listen to it. Really interesting band. The second one is another American band. This band is from Louisiana, I think. Am I right about that? Yes, I think Louisiana. This is their second record from 1998. This is Neutral Milk Hotel. This record is called In the Airplane Over the Sea. They only really released two records. There's some EPs, and then there's a couple of almost mythical cassette tapes that are listed in Discogs, but no one seems to have, and I don't think we'll ever get to hear those. A very interesting album cover. I remember the first time I saw it, I couldn't really make heads or tails of it. I still don't understand what it means. The back is even strange as well. This is, what could you say, psychedelic in some respects, lo-fi, indie kind of thing, like deliberately lo-fi. They use conventional instruments, but mixed it with all sorts of crazy things. Jeff Mangum is the guy behind this, and he's known to be somewhat reclusive. Someone called him the Salinger of indie pop or indie rock, something like that. So hasn't really done a lot of interviews. So they did the two records, then they disappeared, and they came back briefly in the 2015, 2016 for some performances and then kind of disappeared again. So kind of an enigmatic character, and I don't think we know too much about him. But a really interesting record. It's partly based on the Diary of Anne Frank, so I recommend this record. Again, the cover is just really wacky. By the way, there is a box set that was released about this, or of this item, and PC31, the Vinyl Policeman, did an unboxing of that. I haven't bought that. I've been looking at it, and if the price was a bit better, I might consider it. But this is essential, in my opinion, and Aliens would need to listen to that, in my opinion. Now, the third record, we go back to a band that was formed in 1976, and their first record was released in 1977, and that is Wire. This is called Pink Flag, which it says on the spine, but the image on the cover is really interesting to me because it sums up the title of the record without any words. So this is Pink Flag, the first record from 1977. Punk rock, punk rock for sure, but sort of with an art sort of focus, like art school punk rock maybe. There are a lot of tracks. Look how many tracks are on this record. So a lot of them are short. And you might not think you know any of these, but if you're an REM fan and you know the song Strange, this is the original version. REM covered this track. So I find them a very interesting band. They still exist. They're still around. I have many of their releases up to the ones that came out recently, and I think they're really interesting. And I don't know what else to say about them except this is a really original debut record, in my opinion. Like, it sounds... I mean, listening to it now, all those years later, you might not think so, but I think at the time this might have been something unusual, and I think it's great. What do we have here? Brief lyrics, brief songs, and I think that's all I'm going to say. So I think Aliens should listen to these. You should listen to these. I think they're great. Not my favorite 3 records in the world, just 3 things that occurred to me that I think would be useful for this exercise. So join in this thread. It might be fun to see what you have in mind for the alien visit, which may or may not ever happen. But thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.